So, I'm disappointed. Project Veritas went too far. This investigation right here is incredible. It's extremely important, and I almost feel bad talking about it because the guy that they're interviewing, Benny, does not deserve what they did. Basically, this investigation is talking about how, as I've been saying for a long time, Facebook and everything has become way too powerful. They're able to control the flow of information and all this. And Benny here basically compares them to almost like a country that wants their own government, and that's totally fucked up. This is just social media, not a freaking dictatorship, but Mark Zuckerberg is a dictator, so it's not surprising. Check out this investigation here, the title's right there. Very important investigation, but the problem lies at the end of the video.
Who's that?
Project Veritas.
So the Project Veritas journalist is trying to get him to come out in public about the undercover video, which has happened multiple times. Usually they come out and say, yes, I'll do it for the greater good, I'll sacrifice my job, that kind of thing. But we also have to respect them if they don't want to come out in public. And you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't they want to come forward? Maybe out of fear of their job or fear for their lives. There are valid reasons that a person might, once they realize they've been recorded, might say, no, please don't release it.
The video I showed you, whistleblowers and insiders come to us because they're the only people they trust in the media. We support our insiders, Benny. We support them.
We support them, but you're not being very supportive of Benny. I know he didn't end up being a whistleblower, but look.
Are you interested in interviewing on the record with us to clarify your statements to the American people?
No.
I do believe he was thinking about it, and he said no, he's not comfortable.
Hey, Benny.
And then James calls to ask him again.
This is James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. Do you just have a minute to talk off the record?
No.
Just take a minute, Benny. We're putting the story together, and I just want to talk to you about what's going on. We hope this...
I think it's perfectly fine that he was asked twice, and I also think it was perfectly fine, the way James asked him. The problem is that, number one, he still released the video. Now, I do believe I get what James O'Keefe's logic here is, which is, we're doing it for the greater good, basically. But you still did it without his consent. This is not good. Because honestly, James, you're effectively acting the same way that the mainstream media does. Betraying him, considering him a whistleblower and all that stuff, even though he was on your side. And I just find this extremely disrespectful. I think if you were going to release this video for the greater good without his consent, you could have at least said that. It's bad enough you did it, but the least you could have done is clarified it and said something like, hi guys, yes, I did release the video even though Benny said no. I'm sorry, but I did it for the greater good because this is very vital information that people need to know, what Facebook is really doing, all that kind of stuff. You could have at least said that. But no, instead of doing that, you took it a step further and did this. You guys chased him on the street, asking him why he said what he said. Now this pisses me off more than anything you guys have done, because normally when Project Veritas journalists go on the street and do this, you're normally approaching people who have betrayed you. All the retracto people, right? You're normally running after mainstream media people, asking them to comment something horrible that they've done, or something horrible that they've said specifically about you. And yet you're now doing the same thing to a guy who did not give you consent, and to a guy who was on your side. As far as I'm concerned, he has the right to sue you on 2 grounds. 1, because you released a video without consent, and 2, because you were harassing him on the street the same way you do to mainstream media journalists who actually deserve it, but Benny didn't. What good is this? And if you were going to follow him on the street, why would the question be, why did you say what you said? Isn't that what you wanted him to do, to tell the truth and blow the whistle on Facebook? At the very least, the question could have been, Sir, are you sure you don't want to be public? Sir, why don't you want to be public? I don't think you should have asked him that either, but it's certainly better than, why did you say that? He's on your side and you're questioning as to why he said something. Honestly, James in Project Veritas, the kind of things you complain about in Retracto is pretty much the same type of stuff that you did here. Or at the very least, is just equally as bad. I love the investigation because we learned a lot of vital information, but your attitude towards Benny, the way you treated him, is honestly horrible. And I truly hope that you, James, come out and say, I did it for the greater good and I'm deeply sorry, because this right here, in my opinion, Benny has grounds to sue you. He really does. On 2 grounds as well. Like I said, I understand the whole greater goods thing, and I also understand that, that the mainstream media does this kind of thing all the time. I even read comments from people saying, what's the big deal? The mainstream media always does this. But isn't the whole point that Project Veritas has dignity and respect, and they do think that the mainstream media doesn't? 2 wrongs don't make a right. And James, you should know that better than anyone. What do you guys think?